senior pastor, social worker in the South Bay Area and several cities on the peninsula. He's certified in anger management. Ben, you could maybe talk to him about that. Stress relief techniques and multiple subjects. He has 20 years in serving kids with multiple barriers, and he's going to tell us about the program that they do called Brighter Day. So, Kelvin Smith.
My name is Kelvin Smith. I don't know, I'm standing behind the podium just because it makes it easier for me. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Rotary Club for inviting me to come and share what a Brighter Day youth work program does within the communities from South San Francisco really up to San Jose, and all cities in between. We started back in 2015, December of 2015, by a man by the name of Bob Boyette, who had given my wife a challenge to hire some kids, and because she was in the Crystal Springs area, it was hard for people to get there, and so what we did is we started a program. She asked Bob, was it okay to hire kids from juvenile hall, and he said, I came out of juvenile hall, so it was a good fit. We started within the first year, I think it was over 100 kids, 75 to 100 kids got jobs, and we found out though that getting the job was the easy part, then keeping the job was the hard part. And so what we decided to do was start a customer service training program. The customer service training program for people of my age and older, we called it home training, right? At home, you understood that there were certain things that you had to do. When you walked into the house, you said, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, Mom. Can I have dinner? You didn't just go and do certain things. Today's youth do not have the same skill sets. So they needed to be trained. They needed to be trained about what clothing to wear, how to engage with the community, not to think people are against them. And so, and that's not just kids at juvenile hall, that's just kids in general. I've learned that kids in juvenile hall just got caught, but the kids within the community are just as bad as the kids in the juvenile hall. So, over the years we decided to just continue to pour our energy into the juvenile hall. And so, we've been there since 2015, that's 19 now. We are teaching 4 classes. We're in the juvenile hall schools. At the high school, we teach on 2 of the units, Camp Kemp. So we're engaging the kids, and I call it FaceTime. The more time for me that I get with the kids, the more I know about them. And so the kids let down their guards. I'm not with probation, I'm not with the police, so they tell me stuff that they probably wouldn't tell other people. So it also helps that when they do get the job, if they start to have issues on the job, because my wife is also a manager at Safeway. She knows every manager. She's been working with Safeway for 28 years. She has worked in San Jose, in Alameda, in Oakland, in Hayward, in South San Francisco, in Belmont, in Redwood City, you name it, she's worked there. And so we have a relationship with all of the managers. So if one of the kids in which gets hired through our program starts to act up, if they call us, I go in and I talk with them. There's no rules, you know, there's no confidentiality. I go in and I get in their face and tell them, hey, listen, you gotta stop. And it's not that if one kid messes up, it messes up the program for everybody. That's not what happens. I tell the kids, if you get fired, we're still gonna continue to give other kids an opportunity. So you don't mess up for anybody but yourself. And so we're appreciative of the opportunity that Hillcrest and Safeway has presented to us, but also Target now is hiring our kids. Old Navy, McDonald's, Albertsons. We're starting to get more employers to hire the kids that are coming out of Hillcrest. And so we're very grateful for the connections within the neighborhoods of each city, because we don't want kids traveling from one city to another to get a job, because we're trying to remove all of the barriers in which, whether transportation, like in East Palo Alto, there's really no real good bus system. So we try to get the kids jobs in East Palo Alto. Target is hiring them. We've made great relationships with the managers, and we tell them who our kids are. There's no surprise. And so we're really appreciative of those connections. But also we have a program in East Palo Alto. It's a preventative course. It's stopping kids from going to juvenile hall. We go in and we teach the Alive and Free methodology, where we teach the kids that violence is a disease. And you can catch it through music, you can catch it through family, you can catch it by anybody that you touch that has been infected with the disease of violence. So we try to de-violence them through training. Like there's a thing in which we train the kids about friendship versus fearship. A fearship is somebody who makes you do things based off the connection. That's what gangs use. They use fear. They don't use friendship. They use fearship. So we teach all of those things. We also teach about John MacArthur. He has a book called The 21 Characteristics of Leadership. So we want the kids to learn how to be leaders. And it's not just, people say leaders are born. No, they're not. Leaders are trained to be leaders. Some people have skills that are leadership quality, but they're not just born to be leaders. So we're training the kids how to be leaders within the community so that they don't follow other people into things that they should not be doing. And so we do the methodology, the Alive and Free methodology, as well as the 21 characteristics of leadership. And then we also teach the customer service. So we want to make sure that the kids get some jobs and do well. There's one young man that I want to bring up. His name is Juan. He was the first person we actually helped get a job at Safeway. He was in East Palo Alto, and he was a good kid. He had gotten into a fight in Belmont, and the kids had a fight. One kid gets beat up, Juan gets arrested. And when I grew up, if you got beat up, you just got beat up. Nowadays, if you get beat up, you call the police and say, he beat me up. And it's like, oh, okay. So he did 9 months. And all of the time I was talking to him, I found out his brother was in a gang. And so they let him out, and we started meeting. And we would meet every week, and we would sit down and have breakfast, and we would talk. And I found out that his brother was notorious in East Palo Alto for shooting people. And so I called Juan one day, and this is before he got the job, and I said, well, let's meet. He says, I gotta go clean up a site. And I'm like, clean up a site? What is that? He was like, my brother had an altercation last night, and I gotta go clean it up. And I was like, well, what happened? He said, my brother shot somebody. And I'm thinking, okay, that's not a part of what I do. And I said, well, let's meet. He says, well, let's meet tomorrow. He said, Pastor, I need a job. I need to do something. So we got him the job at Safeway. He went into Safeway. He worked hard. He was walking to work, catching the bus when it came. And we just started, we saw a light. Me and my wife saw a light that lit in his eyes to do something positive. And we were getting off the bus. I was going to the church I was pastoring in East Palo Alto, and he ran up to us and he hugged us and he said, I'm really doing well. My life has changed. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was really excited. He says, they promoted me to an assistant manager at Safeway. And I was like, wow, and his kid's only 19 years old. And I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty good. So he took the job and he's promoting, he's going up. And then he took the job at an hour that he couldn't get there, 3 in the morning. So for the first 2 months, he's excited. I could do this. And just like most jobs, he got a little tired. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I gotta walk. It's raining. And he got fired. And so he called me up and he says, I don't know what to do. I said, go find another job. Go find another job. So he went over to Home Depot. Home Depot, we have a relationship with them. They promoted him to an assistant manager, right? Came in. And so the manager saw that he had something different than most kids. And he says, you can work here, but I would really like you to go over to Facebook. And so he goes over to Facebook and he immediately goes in. He's going through the customer service training. He knows how to act. And so they promote him to the liaison of East Palo Alto for the Hispanic community. So now he's helping other kids in East Palo Alto get a job at Facebook. And so he's moving up and he's doing it. And it was funny because my son wanted to work at Facebook. And I told him, go see Juan. And he went, who's that? I said, he's a part of the program. And my son is square. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be associated with him. And I'm like, really? So, okay. Juan gets promoted. He's moving up. Juan is one of our speakers last year at our fundraiser. And my son sees him and goes, hey, it's Juan. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, how do you know him? I was like, this is the kid I told you 2 years to go see. Oh, wow, he's big at Facebook. I'm like, yeah, you're slow. So, you know, it's funny how we have these perceptions of who we think people are. And so anyway, Juan has just left Facebook. He's been there 3 years now and got hired by a startup making $75,000 a year. Juan is 21 years old. And I look at him and he'll text me and say, Kelvin, who would have thought? Who would have thought a kid like me could do something with their life? And I'm thinking, I did. Because Juan is no different than me. Juan is no different than us. And so, you know, we see all of these kids and they're making great strides. The program in East Palo Alto, as I said, is preventative. We have a young man who is at Washington State, Daniel, I'm not saying his name right, but Daniel was ranked number 3 in the nation for linebackers last year. Daniel's in Washington right now, and he is the guy. Daniel's going to be going to the NFL. And he's going to be funding our program. He doesn't know it yet, but he will. And so all of these kids, you know, just need a break. Just need a break. For the program in East Palo Alto, we make sure that we take the kids out. We go to breakfast every first Saturday of the month to teach them how to relate when they go out. And then we go to the movies. And then we have a snow trip that we always go on once a year, annual snow trip for 4 days. We take the kids, and it's funny because they're 13 to 18, and then you see the girls and the boys, and I laugh. It's like, Pastor, we're going to take the garbage out. And I'm like, you two going to take the garbage out? Yeah, I want to make sure she's okay. I'm like, no, the sister can take it. No, what happens if something happens? And I'm like, well, I'm going to make sure nothing happens so you're not taking her. So, you know, we understand that they're still kids, but it's really just pouring our life into these kids. So it's really been a blessing to me for all of the things that they're doing. I just get to watch the growth, trying to make our community safer by interacting with the kids. One of the things I've learned is, I said this on Saturday at one of my friends' appreciation. There was a time I didn't like the police, and now the police is my friend. So if trouble happens, I'm 911. Listen, come, help me. I'm not scared of the police, because what I've learned is the police is just like me. They have a job to do. They want to go home to their family. Are there people in every community that are bad? Yes. But I can't make one person bad or everybody bad because one person is bad. So it's the relationships in which we're building. We're grateful, again, for the opportunity that you allowed us to come and share what we've been doing in the communities. If you have any kids, it doesn't matter if they're in juvenile hall or not, just give me a call, we'll help them get a job. And so we're just gonna keep doing what we do. I know you said 10 minutes, but I think my time is almost up. Do I need to, do I have any questions?
Kelvin, you've done a really good job, but I think you need to tell a little bit more about some of the big events you've had where the president of Safeway flew down to speak at an
Yes.
event in Palo Alto.
Yes. Carl Schroeder, who is the president of the Seattle division, he is over probably, I want to say 3,000 Safeway stores. His budget is like $5 billion. He came in and he spoke, and at the function, he told the kids, I started off cleaning toilets. Because the kids nowadays think, I'm going to be the vice president. And so they fill out the application and they say, I want to be the manager. It's like, you don't have skills to manage anybody right now. So Carl came in and he spoke to the youth and let them know, listen, if you want something, you have to work hard to get it. Nobody's going to give you anything. And so we do our fundraisers every year. And Carl spoke last year. We had the district manager for this area speak this year. The president or the vice president over the state of California and I want to say Arizona. He's the Western president, Brad Street or something Smith. One of the two is going to speak at our next fundraiser because we want Safeway to understand this is a relationship that it's not just beneficial for the kids, it's also beneficial for you because we know right now everybody needs people. And so you have a plug-in with every community because whether we had a kid move to LA, we helped them get a job. Doesn't matter where the kids live, if there is a Safeway, we have a connection. Fresno, LA, San Francisco, South San Francisco, Sacramento, Tracy, Stockton, Hayward, Mountain View, San Jose, it doesn't matter. If there is a Safeway, we can help the kids get jobs because that's one of the things they always say. Pastor, I'm going to go to a group home in Sunnyvale. I go, okay, just call me. And so what we do is, as soon as they land, and I tell the kids, do not go and hang out with your friends. Call me first. I know how easy the temptation is to hang out with your friends and to get in trouble. Call me first. Let's get you started in the process. And so they go online, fill out the application. I send it over to my wife. She calls the manager, make sure that they pull this application from the bottom, put it on the top, they call them in. Our kids get jobs within 3 to 5 days. And that's just because I understand if we keep these kids busy, you can't be in 2 places at one time. Matter of fact, Christian, one of the kids that when I was working with Ceasefire, it's a gang intervention in East Palo Alto, Christian was a part of the gang and he was like, I'm tired. And so in Ceasefire, it was a program that they had already labeled or they've already seen within the community that you were a danger to the community, so they tagged you. And so he came in, we did these call-ins and the FBI was there and everybody was there and they already told him, listen, we've already tagged you for a danger to the community. We're gonna arrest you. So this, you can either do Ceasefire or go to prison. That's your choice. And so Christian was like, I got a daughter, got him a job in Redwood City, and I would meet with him because I was his coach. And every time I would meet with him, every week I say, are you still part of the gang? And he goes, yeah, I'm still in the gang, Kelvin. You don't get out, you don't get out. I'm like, well, when was the last time you saw him? He says, well, a couple of weeks since I got into the program. And I was like, okay. And 2 months go by, and I said, are you still part of the gang? Kelvin, I told you, I'm still in the gang. You don't get out. I said, when did you see him? It's been 2 months. 6 months. Are you still part? I told you, I'm still a part of the gang. When have you seen him? It's been 6 months. And in my mind, I thought, he's kind of like church people who said that they go to church but haven't been to church. And I said, okay, if that's how he can stay safe by just saying I'm a part of, but not participating. I'm okay with that. Yes.
I just wanted to thank you for your mentorship because I oversaw for 4 years the camp, Glenwood Camp and Hillcrest. And you said they're like every other kid, but the difference I found predominantly was that they did not have any adult leadership.
Right.
And they were really on their own, and children can't be on their own as teenagers. And so with someone, anyone who will reach out to them, they are then like anyone else. But that was the missing link for so many of them. They were completely on their own, had no place to go, had no place to turn, had no guidance. So it's important.
And that's true because a lot of the kids, the parents are working to live on the peninsula. It takes a lot of money now. And it's not that parents are bad, it's just, we're just trying to live. And so you got mother and father working, or mother working 2 jobs and father is in prison. So the kids are raising themselves. So a lot of because I do a lot of case management. A part of my job is my wife gets them the job, I do the training, but then I'm also a case manager. And I meet with the kids all the time. They can call me and I'm gonna go see about them. I'm not so concerned about what you've done, as more concerned about how you do it. And so we meet on a weekly basis, and if we don't meet, I'll text a kid, and if they don't respond, they know it. If you don't respond to my text, we have a meeting. If you don't return my text or my phone call, I'm calling your probation officer. Pastor cares too much about you to watch you die. So they understand that. So I'll text and say, how you doing? I'm fine. Okay, call me. And they have to call. If they don't call, we got an appointment. If you miss the appointment, I'm calling probation. If you miss your probation, I'll see you back in jail. It's because I care. Yes.
It's a wonderful program that you have. Do some of the services that you provide carry over to the parents as well who might need employment, or other brothers and sisters, siblings in the household? Does that referral network affect the family?
Yes. We've had several of the parents need jobs. One of the things that even if the parent has a record, we have permission by Safeway to talk directly to security. We need to see what it is. We had a young man who had robbed his store, and I had to tell him, I says, no, we can't do it. And it's not because I don't like you, it's because your last job, you just robbed a place. So there are particulars in which we do screen so severely, because I don't want to set Safeway up, but as far as parents and siblings, we've had several of the kids come through the program if the family needs jobs. We help them get jobs. Brothers and sisters, we don't care who it is. The only difference is we don't do the case management for them. Unless we start to see that the kid is having problems on the job, then I'll go and see about them. But the parents, I try not to, just because I know how sensitive that can be, trying to tell somebody grown what to do. So, yes.
So today it seems like companies have internships. And
They have what?
internships.
Yes.
And young people go to work to get experience, but they don't get paid. Is Safeway actually willing to pay people? These are paid jobs that they're getting.
Oh, yes. And not only are they paid jobs, Safeway will pay 80% of any kid's tuition to any college. So if they say, I want to go to Stanford, they will pay 80% of the tuition of any kid at any college.
How long would they have had to be a Safeway employee?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, you want to do it? 3 months, and that's not just for the kids, that's anybody.
Grandkids.
That's a great way for kids to, if you don't have a lot of money, Safeway will do the 80-20.
Wow.
And that's a great program.
Would there be like of them in school?
In
Or
school.
is it one time?
In school.
But you have to be working
You
full-time?
have to be working full-time at
Full-time,
Safeway.
okay.
Yeah. And there's no, after you get your degree, you have to stay at Safeway.
Wow,
There's no commitment.
That's wonderful.
that is.
Also, they have the ROD program. Anybody that wants to become a manager, Safeway will put you through their ROD program. It's a training program for managers. And that's one of the things that you start off at 50,000. As soon as you say, I want to go into the program, you go in, they start the training, you get bumped up to 50,000, you become assistant manager. It takes you a little time, maybe 5 years before you become a manager. Managers start off at 75 to 80,000. But if you're 24, making 80,000, that's pretty good.
Great. Okay,
Great.
thank you very much.